Hello everyone and welcome back to the next installment of our 9.2 raid guides, proudly presented by Coinbase. This is Crazy Puck from Team Liquid, and today we'll show you how to kill Lihuvim in the Sepulcher of the first ones. This is a single phase encounter with a brief intermission mechanic when the boss reaches 100 energy. Let's start with the basic mechanics. Manifest Mote will debuff several people, putting a circle around them. After a few seconds, the circles explode, creating a floating spiked orb called an unstable mote. These will float in place the rest of the encounter. If you touch a mote, it'll explode, dealing damage and leaving behind a large permanent puddle. Do not run into them. Deconstructing Energy puts a large circle around two people for 6 seconds, dealing mild ticking damage. When the debuff expires, the circle explodes, dealing moderate damage to anybody hit, and increasing their physical damage taken by 200% for 12 seconds. This explosion also destroys any unstable motes within the circle. As you can see, these two mechanics work together, and you'll want to position the raid to try to make managing it as easy as possible. At the start of the fight, you'll just stay near the middle of the room where the boss is. We recommend using Bloodlust on pull. The raid should be loosely spread near the boss. Players targeted with the circles for motes should drop them near the edges of the room. Be quick moving out once the motes spawn because it does trigger pretty quickly. When deconstructing energy goes out, have both targets move towards some of the motes and try to clear as many of them as possible. The rest of the boss's mechanics are fairly straightforward. Cosmic Shift is a raid-wide AoE with a knockback component. Ensure you're positioned properly so you don't get pushed back into the motes. Protoform Cascade will put a circle of orbs around the boss in melee range that slam down and deal heavy damage to anybody hit. Melee will need to move out of this, and you can actually just step up a little bit closer to the boss to be within it, and then it just won't hit you. Resonance is a tank combo with two pieces cast back to back. Kinetic Resonance creates an explosion at the target's location, dealing massive physical damage to anybody within 12 yards, and increasing cosmic damage taken by 50% for 12 seconds. Sundering Resonance does the exact same thing, but the explosion is cosmic energy and the debuff is physical damage taken. Tanks will need to swap after whichever ability is cast first. You cannot soak both or you will die. Ensure the tanks are also far enough away from each other so the 12-yard explosion doesn't accidentally clip the other tank. This is also super dangerous for melee. If you get clipped by one of the tank abilities, you will die, so you'll need to be max melee range and move around as necessary to ensure you do not get hit. Now, those are all the primary abilities that make up the majority of the fight. Let's go over the little mini intermission bit now. When the boss reaches 100 energy, it'll cast Synthesize, a 20-second channel. While this channel occurs, the 4 big cubby holes around the room with holograms of Automa will activate, and the ads become attackable. Any of these not killed within the 20-second window of the Synthesize cast will spawn fully and start fighting the raid. There are 4 Automa, each with unique abilities, called Degeneration, Acquisitions, Guardian, and Defense Matrix. Degeneration will spawn a bunch of little ads that will channel damage into the tank. These can be stunned to interrupt the channel, but they do have diminishing return effects. Acquisitions will pulse raid-wide damage every 2 seconds, increasing in potency over time. When it dies, it'll explode, dealing mild raid-wide damage and knocking everyone back a bit. Guardian will create sentry orbs that constantly shoot several random people for moderate damage. Defense Matrix reduces damage taken by all other ads by 50% while it lives. To deal with all of this, when the Synthesize is going out, you'll want the entire raid to kill the Acquisitions ad. Your raid leader should watch timers and call out a few seconds before the cast begins to have the entire raid shift towards where Acquisitions will be. After Synthesize ends, the boss will then cast Realignment for 30 seconds, floating himself up in the air. This gives you time to AoE down all of the ads. Bring them to the middle of the room and just blast everything. Focus down the Defense Matrix first, since he reduces your damage to the rest of the ads. To help the Degeneration ads get together, simply wait to touch them. If you don't actually hit them with anything, they'll just start running towards the tank. Once they all get within cleave range, you can use stuns to interrupt their cast and AoE them down, along with the rest of the ads. From here, it's just rinse and repeat until the boss falls over. Try to be as conscious with the motes as possible, because as the fight goes on, you will start losing a bit of space over time. Shift the raid around the room as necessary to ensure that there's space to stand and drop new motes, and make sure to watch your feet so you don't get knocked back into them with the knockback. And that's pretty much it. Congrats on the pretty easy tier loot. If you enjoyed this guide, remember to like it and make sure you're subscribed to the channel to catch all of our previews, guides, kill videos, and more. A big thank you to Coinbase for making guides like these possible. From everyone here at Team Liquid, have a great day, and we'll see you for the next video.